Hey guys, Boris here, bringing you another VOD review. Today we'll be jumping in game with Kojnid, who is one of EU Tier 1 pros, playing on PBE, where the Project PBE event is happening. For those who are unaware, Project PBE is essentially a community-made ladder system where the top players are practicing on PBE, and the reason why they are on PBE is because there are some huge changes regarding unit unlocks coming with the next patch, and they are all practicing for the upcoming regionals tournament, which is happening on this patch. Now, we are starting out here with the Slayer pair already paired up, and we also have this Draven that we could consider playing around if we got something like a bow. Since we are holding this, we are going to also hold on to the Blitzcrank pair. Going to hold on to a Yoni as a potential out as well, but really would want to see a bow to play around either of these. Now, since there are quite few unit unlock changes, we're going to possibly see quite a different lines lineup open up. And now with our current items, we probably would be considering playing some kind of Slayer's line. It is known that a Yone is quite strong in its current state, and hopefully we're going to see some changes. But on this augment coming here, Warlord's Honor is generally quite slow and only really works if you're playing for some kind of reroll augment comp that we could already stack it up. Silco's Revenge again is one of the augments that is better in early game, but afterwards you are just falling off and almost playing without an augment. Tuchuk could potentially give us some kind of tempo and also help us to provide some kind of direction. So probably going to default that. It also has generic econ augment. Trade Sector would be more played into some form of potential lose streak. Specifically now that Bard is going to be 3 rerolls to unlock, this should unlock you a Bard for free. But since we have an econ option offered, we could also consider rerolling. Heavy is a crown, we could try on something like a Draven. Generally we'll be playing into something like a Kaisa. Now we're going to opt to instead go for a 2-trick here, valuing that tempo, and we do get an Echo too. So we also have this Vego that we could consider pairing together with the Draven. I'm going to opt to sell the Echo to. Now if we were going to make this Hodge, we could definitely see ourselves playing around. Already some interesting decisions made here by Kojnid. Also we have to note that they sometimes do prefer to test some lines on this PBE realm as they want to have the best read for the upcoming patch. Also it's very interesting to be watching a game from Kojnid, since he's one of the players who generally did not have their VODs up, but has put up very good performances in the past as well, and is one of the more interesting players to be looking into on the EU scene. Going to up to level aggressively here on level 5, since the Darius unlock condition now is to have a Draven with an item on level 5. This would give us a Draven that we could play around early on already, and we're going to mapping out this board, which seems to be some kind of Noxus board. So our plan, I guess, is to be considered testing out this Noxus line. Now are we going to go for a LeBlanc unlock here? We have the Rumble to pair with the Darius. That was probably the only reason why we held onto us, as Yordles generally do not lead into that much, especially specifically now, since Veigar can be unlocked by only a single death cap on a Yordle unit. You can play him in various different kind of combos outside of Yordle if you opt to go that route. We're going to slam the Adaptive Helm, which is going to allow us to also unlock a LeBlanc, so we could be considering playing around a 5 Noxus mid game quite early on. Now this is one of the things that probably they are opting to consider testing out, which would be LeBlanc, Draven, Darius reroll, since the Noxus line has 3 costs and they are hidden behind the unlocks, 2 of them, right? They're not going to be as contested, and you should be able to find them with a relative ease. So going to go for a 5 Noxus already. This should be quite strong, as even though the units do not have other innate synergies, they are quite strong. But since we have the upgraded Rumble, going to opt to instead drop down to 3 Noxus, get some synergies in. Specifically in this set, it is known that the 2-piece traits and the lower breakpoints generally are stronger. Also opted to go for a sword on the carousel. Could transition in some kind of Draven item. Did not have the option to go for a bow at that point. Also could be that we are considering playing around simply a LeBlanc carry, since we have that Adaptive Helm slammed. Also interesting way we are positioning right now is with the single Darius frontline. He's able to get those bleeds on the enemies by spinning around, therefore it's generally quite good for him to be surrounded by the enemies. Now, could be one of the potential carries to actually prefer to use a stone plate if he turns out to be a great tank in the game. But yeah, definitely can see why we opted to go for a Bruiser and Defender. Generally, the innate synergies and the team buff synergize. HP plus magic resistance. Also going to opt to go for a level 6 push now, since that unlocks as a Kobuko now on level 6. And we will be able to slot out that Chen that we have right now and get the Invoker on our team. Also do get dropped a Golden Dupe, which is generally going to help us if we are opting to go for the 3-roll route. Going to slam Asterix here, generally a good tank item, and Darius might be one of the units to prefer it more, since he has that AD scaling in him. A little bit of a hybrid tank in a way that he is possibly able to do some kind of meaningful damage as well. Able to close out here on the 6th streak, so definitely we could see that already, even playing from a spot that we would not so much as call a very strong opener, even sold our 2 cost from the 2 trick. We're able to see how this Noxus line is able to perform very strong on early game. Now coming up on our augments, healing orbs would be preferable for melee carry. Could be good if we are running a solo frontline Darius, but generally at this point, if we are going for a reroll, especially 3-cost reroll, it's very expensive, therefore we might be leaning Heroic Grab Bag, while Precision of Grace is an augment that we will be playing more in a melee comp such as Slayers, Exiles, generally a good combat augment, but again, I believe we are looking for that econ from this Heroic Grab Bag, which is going to be better than the Slamming at this point. Item obviously would be quite nice if we are playing the 3-cost reroll, and specifically if we are rerolling all 3 of them, then we would be quite hungry for items. But this should allow us... Oh, we're going to also level to 7 very aggressively right now. We can see that we are valuing keeping this streak so much. Even going to start rolling here now. If we lose this round, it's actually a disaster. We might be afraid of this player. They have a 3-item Yasuo, and our only itemized carry at the moment is this Darius. But he's able to do significant damage. Also get that extra bit of econ coming in from the Draven. Haven't been able to pick up that, and still cannot make econ. Now, if we are so we are leveraging the fact that we have taken 2 econ augments here to be able to push these levels and able to maintain the streak. And we see there's another player playing into this Noxus line. There's another player with a LeBlanc, so even though we are playing some around some good unlocks, they are being taken out of the pool. Therefore, we will want every bit of gold that we can, but if we are able to maintain this streak, we are going to be making it back, and then we're going to have a little bit of extra HP. This is the thing with the 3-cost reroll, right? You generally are going to be naturally 2-starring them starting for 1, but starting for 2 already. The 2-cost 4-cost 2 stars are going to be coming online. Therefore, you always want to be playing this 3-cost reroll from being ahead, as otherwise you might start bleeding out too much damage in stage 4, and they are definitely not comps that you want to opt for into from a losing spot. I'm going to go for a Rod. If we are going and still going to roll aggressively here to get our upgrades, since we're sitting on pairs, now we should be stable. Now we have hit our spike, which is our 2 stars on the season. This 3-cost. Gonna slam the JG to be able to extend the streak as much as possible, and also solo frontline this Darius now that he is upgraded. Going against the Golem FI board, well, hopefully we only have 1 damage item, so we might have a little bit of troubles getting through it. But hopefully this Darius is able to tank. Not going to exactly see it. He's quite confident already. He's going to be winning in this one. Now we are going to high roll also some of our 4 costs. But I believe, yeah, we do want to get this Invoker on our team, specifically since this LeBlanc does not have a mana gen item right now. And we could try to also position in some way during the PBE round to get this Ambassador die to unlock an early Mel, but instead we're going to pass upon it. If we are playing this reroll route, it's not exactly going to become online, and that's significant for us. Very interesting decisions made, and how we have managed to put ourselves in such a great spot from being playing very aggressive early game. and through good recognition of what our strongest board is going to be. Definitely some learnings to take away from this. Now only, even though we have these double econ augments, our real concern is going to be this gold. And we do get dropped some AD item components. Going to opt to go for a BT, so trying to test this Darius out as a more of a hybrid melee fighter tank. Now again, we'll have to keep an eye out on the damage charts, what he's able to do. Into also Vasion Iverson, who has taken heroic grab bag for his LeBlanc. Didn't catch if he has the dupes already, or if they just used it to make the LeBlanc 2. Yeah, this Darius is definitely doing some significant damage, and they're blocking a good amount as well. Now, since we are playing into this reroll, Gilded Steel would not exactly fit for us. We're probably going to be running with 5 Noxus at this stage, and we're not going to level to put more units in, even though we could consider to optical reroll in level 8 and just staying there the whole game. Mace's Will would be good, since we have this JG already made. Could potentially go for something like a Striker's Flare on the LeBlanc. Well, Plot Armor would be a generally decent combat augment if we are, but I believe we are at this point lacking in the form of items. Heroic Grab Bag could do that for us. We probably would want to get a completed item on LeBlanc as soon as possible we can. Now, are we considering plot armor here? Oh, we are, okay. So we are believing that we are going to be able to just simply bypass on this Draven, sorry. And we should be able to get a completed item for this LeBlanc off the carousel, hopefully. We would ideally want this to be a tier so we can complete a Void Staff. Otherwise it might be like we could also, yeah, this obviously this could also become a Nashers if we wanted to. Still not that many copies. We are checking the Vasion Iverson's. What? Okay, since he seemed to FF. Not exactly sure. Probably considered them to contested, didn't find it out, or screwed up their lifting competition in some form. Now, this is the thing with the PBE. Sometimes players, they just want to get this many reps in, and if they don't see a rep valuable enough, they're going to value their time. Do against a Aura Farming Annie. Now, that was probably one of the better units to get from Aura Farming, since she also stabilizes you exactly with the Tibbers. Also, we see a Double Trouble Malzahar player, so this is definitely going to be reroll quite heavy lobby, which should favor us, since we have that extra HP that we can use the stage to sack with. Unfortunately, the tiers get yoinked from us right away. We have to opt to go for a bow, but we have that anti-heal sorted out right now, so we're probably not going to be going to roll down quite heavy here, trying to see if we can get any close, since we're not that far from the Darius. Fortunately, do not find any more LeBlancs. We are still sitting only on 4 copies. We have these 3 dupes. Now, since we played from a position ahead, we can now leverage that HP and do not have to immediately dupe this Darius. Up against a what seems to be a fast 9 board. So yeah, they are definitely having taken our Ravens out as well. So, and since we don't have items for it, we're not going to consider rolling for it. Ideally, it would be quite interesting to see how that comp would perform if we manage to 3-stall all 3 of our 3 costs. Also, Draven would be the one unit that generally unlocks more, gives you more gold, right, since he's able to farm, but since he's still able to get some of these takedowns, we should be able to farm a little bit. Up against the Slayers board, we did lose, so we can still see that Slayers in the variations both with Ambessa and Belveth are performing well, and since the aforementioned Iona version has been seen to be quite good as well. Now, hopefully we're able to hit this Darius quite soon, so that we can use these dupes for our LeBlanc. Do get double teardrop, which is quite fortunate for us. Now we finally get our board ready. Now we have come online. This would be on pace where we would expect to come for these 3-cost rerolls to come online, which being the stage 5-1. Opted to go for an Adaptive Slam. I'm not exactly sure if that is the best Stike counter, but obviously it's going to be better than the Sunfire up against a Malzahar. We're able to just barely lose to the double trouble Malzahar. I still can see that still even with the leeching nucleus nerfs is very strong comp. Able to pick up a Kindred from a single roll on level 8, going to be quite strong for us. And since we picked up the Zillion, we found a other Bruiser, perhaps we could consider playing it. But otherwise, this board seems generally to be the case how you opt to play it. You would be running a Kobuko and then you just picked in some kind of Quick Striker on level 8 and you have the Nico synergizing with the Swain, giving the Arcanist to the team and giving the Fender to the Darius. LeBlanc 3 definitely looking like a prominent threat with the recent buffs it received on the patch that's currently live right away as well. At this point we'd probably be considering making our way to level 9. Now this is the other reason why the 3-cost reroll has been hurt this set so much. It's that you have to pay so much more gold to get to level 8, and afterwards, since you have already 3-starred your carries, and generally you probably will have picked up a single copy of your 4-cost, you do not opt to want to spend that much gold on level 8. You rather want to see your winning condition would be going 9 and capping around some potential legendary units. Going to opt to go for more damage instead here on this LeBlanc, as she's our sole carry. Not sure if Kindred is the best spreader, but well, it is in our current case at the moment of the Shred. Also doing an interesting position way to get the Various to be wrapped a little bit more and protect our Swain. As since the mana nerf, Swain 1 does receive some little bit of castrables, but this Y does wrap us. And since the rolls revamp does not provide us with a little bit extra mana, but thankfully our LeBlanc is able to survive and are able to get a win here. Also have a Volibear unlocked, but could be a way to cap out this board maximally. Also, this is, you can see the man is multitasking, trying to probably figure out how he got wrapped there. Now we have a player who has, so we can see that through the stutter the Vi wrapped us, providing us instant replay right away, applying learnings, something I perhaps would not advise for you to in your games, since we quite hard to figure out everything on the fly. But we have managed to top 4 from the spot, and we're not probably going to be spending our gold to level 8. But yeah, we could go and drop this Kobuko if you're able to find a Zillion on level 9. So we have some potential to flex in these 5 costs. Now since we have this Kindred, we're probably keeping the 5 Noxus score as well. Instead, not gonna pick up this Volibear, just going to go to level 9, able to find a Shyvana. Should be quite strong for our board, get that little bit of extra durability, generally considered the best Aura unit since the changes. Now do not exactly get a other form of a attack speed item, exactly. So instead going to go for a D-Claw. There was an Annie player in the lobby that we are considering to be a higher threat for us. Got the positioning correct for the Slayer player, so we're able to take them down. And we should be quite close into top 3 right now. Have this HP lead, but generally the theme of this set is that these 5-cost boards tend to cap higher than others. And yeah, since we have the Trouble Malzahar and the Annie player, obviously the D-Claw is going to be quite strong. Get the position correctly. This is probably going to be very crucial for us in order to secure any wins. Now the Darius is getting knocked back by Dolores, but managed to kill it finally. Now wanders off and our LeBlanc gets exposed now. Could be some potential that we are not just simply do not have enough damage on this board at the moment to be able to burst out through their very durable front line. Now let's see how we fare against the Sunny player who have unlocked Silas. That should now only require a single game. The Silas snipes our Shred. Also gets in the back. Very scary for us if they do that Garen's smite on us. So yeah, the 5-cost board is also starting to outcap us. But we should have the HP lead to be able to secure the top 2. We still have some units that we could hit, but we are quite poor on the gold. Spatula here would be quite dead, so we're instead going to go for this Gargoyle Stoneblade, giving us the Kindred too. Just going to transition the Adaptive Helm on him. Now we have a Shyvana pair, but still have not managed to find that Swain 2 either. Trying to get the position correctly, gambling on them doing the last second switch, so we are on their weak side, but so they are us on ours. Still doing some checking out, so do we believe that we might lose this round? I would assume, since yeah, the Malzahar is able to ramp and take out our supportive units, we just simply lack in damage, but we are able to secure it top 2, and now we find a Shyvana too, but I doubt this is going to be enough. Going to transition items to her, obviously, since at least she's able to hopefully tank a little bit longer. Now, I don't know if there's any way how we can position correctly, but the Sunny player, since they have this white cap, going to try to go for a full expose in our areas. Hopefully does not get the result in a wrap again. Did not, but they are just simply able to disarc his board with an extra oomph. Dani does cast on our LeBlanc before she's able to get it off, and we do get a second, but as we can see, some shining light of the 3-cost reroll is back. This Noxus core has been long waited to be played, and from very well executed early game, we are able to find a sufficient amount of resources to get to it. However, then we had to pay for having taken the econ augments by losing out to a faster, higher capped boards. I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope that you learned something new, and I wish to see you in the next one. Have a good one.